Recording. So, first one we look at, you probably can't see this. If you can't see that writing there, what you need to do is right-click on the screen in the menu, go to Edit Studies, and make sure that I can see that it's white, but I can't read it. Make sure it's black, so then you can see the label, what's labelled up there. You haven't got it either. Like that, you can see it up there. Anyway, this is Aussie yen that we're looking at, and the trader is looking to go long off this little ring low here, above support. Bullish price action. It's been a bit sideways with the yen getting a little stronger and the Aussie at the same time. However, scores 9 and there's no reason why you shouldn't. Just the one thing I did notice on that is your horizontal level was slightly different. It's about 40 pips lower than what I would have had that. You've got it at 94.25, and I've got mine at 94.46. So I get this high, that high, and if we go to the monthly, weekly, you're also getting that first resistance, this sort of low here. So there's a few more tags and turning points. We can see the prices come down and tested that and was held above it. Retail sales came out this morning at 0.1 when they expected 0.4, so we've got a bit of weakness in the Aussie this morning. Yeah. Trend line. Yeah, trend line. Yep. Nice tag of that too. And Fibonacci. It's only the 382, isn't it? Which happens to, funnily enough, be that same. Crazy how that worked. You'd get your fib from there as well. I presume, I can't say the numbers, but I presume that is the 382. Okay, that's good. Interesting to see how much capital you risk on this trade. Your next one, you're also looking at the pound Swiss. There's trend line support. Your Fibonacci, okay, just across there. So there. Fib support, horizontal at 48. I presume it's that higher than these highs here. So pound Swiss has been a bit of a mess really, hasn't it? Slowly sort of making its way higher. If we look at the weekly, I'd put that high there and get these highs. I'd even come down to, come on, move. On 148.11, some people might round it out at 148, but we get that there. Price has certainly dipped under it and now closed back above it. Fib would be from that low, that Monday morning, to that high, and yes, 50 is offering a good support. So yes, above. EMA support, no. Well, you can't really say that. It's quite a distance away from that. Fair call. Yes, no. No resistance in the way. Well, the risk-reward ratio, you'd want to hope that that resistance line you've got there is not. Okay. So next one is no trades yesterday. Was stopped out on the Kiwi yen. Yeah. Why does it do that? That's annoying me now. Default. Okay. Yeah, test bar. You should have had your stop underneath that. Being a test bar. Or could have had your stop underneath that being a test bar. And taken out, so we've been a bit of a profit in that there for you. Okay. Profitable trade with stuff left on the table. Well, it hasn't gone and made a higher high, so what's this, 28 to a low of 60. So you're probably looking at 80 pips that you left on the table. You're never going to get 100% of the move. It'll be complete fluke if you did. Okay, been through the Aussie pairs which are setting up. Best action for me is the Aussie Sing chart attached. What I like is a bounce off the trend line combined with 50 EMA. Compared to Euro Aussie, which is setting up in a similar way, it is however in the middle of the MT channel. And with the ECB announcement tomorrow, I prefer to stay away from that. Pound Aussie also setting up, but I don't want to be short the pound. Fair call. Question for discussion is whether the bar yesterday was overextended and better to wait or enter on the 4-hour chart. Okay. Aussie Sing. Well, we're certainly getting, this bar was a test bar and it was looking good. You get an inside seller bar. So now you have this bar and you'd be looking for the trade. Good question is that, is this overextended? Is 140 pips? Well, it depends on how bigger resistance levels are there further away, at least sort of 200 odd pips away. You'd have to say that's a reasonable level around here at a 1746. This high, these lows, these highs, that high there. So then is that too far away, or sorry, is that not far away enough? Yeah. If we go to the monthly, I don't have that much data. So risk reward, how strong is this? And that's the difficult question. So then you might look at the 4-hour, and now you have that cycle above it. You've gone and done your research and showing that your Aussie Sing, nice channel that you got going there. You've got this horizontal level. The fib's correct. Momentum's just ticking up. Retail sales has obviously has put a bit of a spanner in the works. Yes, yes. We can't say yes to that, it's only above the 50. Don't get half points. Yes. MACD bounced off zero line, bullish ring low, inside bar, no levels of resistance. Fib retracement. Channel bottom. Okay, so you've done all this work and you think this is going to play out for you. I would now be looking at this. Yep. So if you get a ring low, this bar is 0400, so it's only an hour old. So you're talking sort of 7 hours away before you get a trade on this anyway. This bar finishes in 3 hours, and then you need to wait for the next bar 4 hours. So this might be a trade for tonight. And again, if it's a ring low and it's a similar high to this bar here, you're then looking at sort of 50 or around a 40-50 pip stop. And then if that's that resistance line there or these previous highs, that's 2 times your risk. Yep. So absolutely, now you've got that cycle above the EMA. So that's a good spot. And keen to go long on the pound. Only avenue is pound switch, which has completed 2 mini cycles above the EMA with the last high a lower high. hence does not fit the rules. However, the horizontal level is bounced off as a strong level. We will wait for a test of the 50 EMA. Pound Swiss. Okay. What you're suggesting is that this cycle here, you've had this cycle, and then this cycle here is a lower high because it's going off the 20 EMA. Yeah, look, I think this is borderline. I too would prefer to be long the pound, although it's getting towards the end of its run. I've been saying that for a week or so now. I've been wrong, but you know, there is a good strong sort of trend line going, as the previous person sort of identified. You know, two touches, you know, bouncing off the third touch, bouncing off that horizontal level, bouncing off the 50. I would look at this as the complete cycle. Okay. I did not make a recording of the webinar on Monday. Missed a discussion of your CAD yen. I did not place the trade. Okay, I do have the CAD yen. I know that you weren't online when I missed that, so I did have that lined up for discussion today. Back here. Okay, so your dollar Sing is looking good on the 4 hour. Your analysis on the pound Swiss. Well, downtrend broken, retested, and then going back up. And you could almost have a channel across these two lows and these two highs. I don't know if my data will show that. What are you looking at? Pound Swiss? I can't see what sort of chart that is. Must be daily. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, so it's this channel here that, if you do equidistance, so maybe not quite there. It looks like it's in the bottom half of it still. Doesn't tell me much. But you're saying this, it's broken this and retested it. Fair enough. Bounced off the 50. If you go to the one that this is the one that got you back above the 50 EMA. That's the one I would be drawing my fib from. But yeah, I think that looks reasonable. And so your concern was that this high here wasn't as high as that high there, but I would look at that as being the cycle. And potentially it's just gone really sideways since. You can see that it does this quite a lot sideways and then has a strong move. It's not the best of trending currency pairs. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Okay. Alright, Aussie, Kiwi. You've got a few Aussie trades on, they're all 0.15%. Okay. Sorry? It says Aussie Kiwi, but it's Kiwi Yen. You saved it as the Aussie Kiwi, but it's the Kiwi Yen. Okay. 7th of May, stop loss to 87.98. Okay, well with this test bar, you could have moved it underneath that and you would have been taken out for a bit of a profit. As we sort of looked at. The next one, Aussie CAD. Ring low, buying this means selling CAD. Fundamentally, I don't like that idea. But it fits your rules. Where's your bullish price action? Fib retracement. I can see you've drawn this for your extension to get your target. Not sure where your fib retracement is. Aussie CAD. It's a 382 if you go from there, which was effectively the last time it was on the 50. Even if you went to that one, then you got the 50, which looks a bit better. You need a bit of a horizontal. If you've got this one here at 10160. 10160. Not really seeing much of a horizontal till you get back down here. Or you're going for that one there, which is above the price. That low there is that there. So it's not a very strong horizontal, but I'd be going off these lows here. As my horizontal. So Aussie CAD looks reasonable, but fundamentally I'm not with it, but technically it looks okay. I don't think it's the strongest setup technically either, but Aussie US. Again, you haven't got the fib there, from there to there. Got your extension. Yes, there's a good trend line support. Say horizontal support somewhere around there. A good bar yesterday. Okay, the RBA came out and didn't move rates, but they were never going to lower rates. You know, it's just about what he's talking about in terms of his view of the economy. Trade balance figures certainly not bullish, and retail sales figures certainly not bullish. And as I said, I have been saying for some time, fundamentally we're not in the best of positions compared to other countries, and therefore our currency shouldn't really be here other than the carry trade because of the high interest rates. But I think Kiwi is getting most of that action. I think this move yesterday was more about a weaker US dollar than thanks to the Muppets over in Moscow. But our economic data that's coming out is not that strong. However, you've got this set up 0.25%. I wouldn't be looking at trading it today. It's too far gone. But you should have had a trade on yesterday at around 92.90. Let's see if did. Yep, cool, 92.94. So you're in the trade. Now it's just about managing it. Okay. You got a similar support line as me, and that's good. And your last one, also for one, don't know if I want to short the pound. That's why I didn't like this one, and I preferred the Euro Aussie. Just can't see myself short the pound. You got your fib on this one. You've got support. You need resistance, don't we? Is this meant to be resistance? Not support. The target's here. Yeah. They're all current trades. Okay. So you got into this trade underneath that, so you're about break even. Yeah. Technically, again, same with the Aussie dollar. Technically, it looks okay. Just fundamentally, I can't be short pound and long Aussie when I'm leaning the other way on both. Yeah. You didn't pick up that trend line? Trend line resistance. And horizontal support or horizontal resistance, sorry, coming around there. Technically looks good. I'm glad you only got a small amount of risk on it though, because I don't know about the how well that's going to actually go. What I'd be looking at now is here we've got a little cycle above the EMA. I'd be looking for, if this is a higher high, taking this higher personally. BOE tomorrow, so I'd wait for after that. What time's it come out? It's around 10 o'clock, isn't it? Your time? 7 p.m. my time. Can't see them doing anything either. Anyway, I could be totally wrong. I was talking to one of our traders who's English, and he was suggesting that with their elections next week that the opposition will get in and then the pound will tank. So it's a very close call election. So we'll have to see. All right. Aussie Swiss. That's this one. Trendline support. No. Fib support. Yes. I would probably go from that low there for your Fibonacci. Horizontal support. Support of moving average. Above them, no. Higher highs and higher lows. Yes. Okay. You're trying to show hidden divergence. That's your question. Difficult to pick the point A to point B when deciding if there's hidden divergence or not. Should point A be the same place we're drawing the fib? Yes. Effectively. Yes. That's a good point. When drawing your Fibonacci, you're drawing at the start of phase one, and phase one is when price moves away from the EMA. So this is where you would draw your fib from. Not there, not there, because that's just phase two, back to the moving average. So I would draw my fib like that, and I've got the 618 giving us support. Moving the momentum is at the lower end of the scale, and obviously will be going higher. So when you're looking at it like that, you could suggest that there's, let me just put that on there. So you could suggest that you've got hidden divergence. Once you start getting the cycles, you've got your divergence coming across from this low here, and that's just, I suppose it's class C divergence, because it's the same low, even though it's a much higher low in price. But generally, when you're in a cycling market, you're wanting to see that in the from the previous phase one to the next phase one. Okay, so it's a good identification. See how Aussie fares over the European session. Again, I think the Europeans will look to weaken their currency, which will obviously affect the Swiss, and this should be okay. Euro Aussie, there was a trade in there yesterday, a potential trade there yesterday, obviously quite strong resistance. You call it $1.50 rather than 48. Nice round number. You got that resistance there, your fib, and similarly you've got class C hidden divergence from that high there, but 5 pips off. It's crazy. Yeah. So that trade's similar to the Aussie Swiss trade, just upside down. Yeah. Okay. Euro Aussie short. That's the only one you found. You say Euro Aussie short phase one. Look, I think here I can see your trend line. You've gone straight through that, so you could hit that. I don't think that's really valid, because your trend line should be linking these two highs and saying, well, okay, worst case scenario, you might go to that high there because it's close and you're still not, or you go that high there and you're cutting through it. So I'd say no to trendline support, or trendline resistance, which you've given it a yes. Your Fibonacci you've drawn from that high there, that's fair enough. It's good. Lower highs, lower lows, MA resistance, horizontal resistance, RSI convergence. Yep. Price action, risk 1%. Okay. Just your trend line's wrong. Okay. The rest of it's good. Question on the weekly charts: is it possible to trade on the prop account? Yep. I would like to incorporate this as part of my business plan. I'm aware the risk reward would need to justify the trade alongside with the checklist. My assumption would the checklist be the same as if we're trading the daily charts? Yes. Absolutely. You can trade weekly charts. Similar to this way, you can trade the daily charts, and you can trade the way you're trying to pick these swing points. Using ring lows, you can do that on weekly, you can do it on daily, 4 hourly, hourly, but what you've got to have is a trend in the longer time frame. So for the daily, it's trading on the hourly or 4 hourly, you've got to have a trend in the daily. For the daily, you've got to have a reasonable trend in the weekly. Yeah. For the weekly, you must have a sort of a trend in the monthly. Okay, so the monthly is looking for as a downtrend. You could be looking at the weekly as a potential ring high here and take that short. Okay, would you look for divergence on the 4-hour chart or on the chart you are on? Hidden divergence? Would I look for hidden divergence? If I'm trading the cyclicity, I would look for hidden divergence. So we can see here, this is what the weekly chart of the Euro Aussie. We've got higher lows. Is there hidden divergence here? Well, let's have a look. That's absolutely. So if I'm trading this cycle, phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2, and I'm looking at this, trading this long, then you've got that bullish hidden divergence. So if it's the 4-hour, what's trending? What's trending? Pound dollar, where's the cable? So each cycle here, you'd be looking at hidden divergence, yes. You won't necessarily find it each cycle, but if it's there, then it's increases the probability of the trade in your favour. Another one at the Euro Aussie yesterday. Hidden divergence, okay. Horizontal resistance, yes. Lower highs, yes. Bearish price action, yes. It's not a reversal bar. A signal has it as a reversal bar, but actually there's two high tests. Below moving averages, no, correct. EMA resistance, yes. RSI convergence, support in the way. So there's no support in the way. Trend line resistance, no. That's good. Head, shoulder, shoulder. And this could be the neckline. We'll come back to test it. Yeah. Hidden divergence, yes. Strong resistance, horizontal, no reversal. Yep. Sounds good. Just 0.5%. Nice work. SEB, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar long continuation. A little cycle in there too. Right. Bang. Higher highs, yes. Above the moving averages, yes. EMA support, horizontal support. RSI convergence, no. Convergence, divergence. Yeah, okay. But this kind of reversal divergence would indicate what to you? To me, if we've got price making lower lows and the momentum making higher lows, then I would say the momentum is going to, the momentum in this particular move is changing. So it's not often you see reversal divergence at the end of phase 2, which is effectively what this is. So yeah, you say that's no convergence. No, you're correct. There is no convergence, but this is a good thing. Having the divergence here is sometimes can be a good thing, in that it's indicating that there's a shift in momentum coming, which is what you're looking for anyway. If that makes sense. Risking 0.25%. Okay, that's good. You only ran 0.25% because the fundamentals are against you. I'm considering two targets. First is at 144 pips and the second is at 206. Yep. Look, having targets is fine. And the risk reward is, the first one is what, 1.14, and the other one's 1.6. And you've chosen the first one because of the previous high. Okay, look, that's fine. I don't mind you doing that. I like the way you're thinking in terms of trying to, grab a bit of profit on the way, and seeing that as a potential hurdle to your profit. That's and you've argued for the trade, and I'm not going to stop that. If you're making money on it, go for it. That's what we're here for. So I think that's good. Okay, and last one is the CAD yen. It hasn't really gone anywhere. I got into it on this ring low here. Stops just under there. This is another account, not on this account, obviously, otherwise you'd see it. Stops just under this low test bar now. It really hasn't gone anywhere, and then you can see the moving average is flat. However, I was looking at this higher highs here. Some people are seeing it as in being in a range. Well, I used to think it was in a range when it was. Come here, you. Come on. Yeah, I thought that was the bottom end of the range, and this is the top end of the range. And you could say that there was another, a few people took this range trade back here. Off here, this is when we were looking at it being a range, double bottom, taking this trade and taking it to the top. It didn't quite make it there and has pulled back, and it's now sort of going sideways. It could be in a tighter range. I still think it's heading back up fundamentally. I want to be long CAD and short yen, so it makes sense to take this trade, although the Russians and Ukrainians are putting a hindrance to it, in the sense that they're keeping a bid on the yen and holding this down. Hopefully they'll find a resolution and stop shooting each other, and let this trade go. But that was the only concern, is there's it's flatlined. When I got into the trade, it looked pretty good. It's now gone sideways. The closing price has been within about 10 pips of each other. So it's lucky we're earning interest on the trade. So yours, excuse me, your trade, would you consider horizontal as a strong horizontal? There's recent action, but not much before. Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, you could argue now that it's in a range trade, and this is the top end of the range. My biggest thing is, if you're questioning the trade, then walk away from it. Trade balance came out. I think the trade balance came out yesterday as just under the mark. Still positive, but only just. Where was it? Trade balance, 0.1 billion. Yeah, they're expecting 0.4. Bearish price action, high test, range reversal, short. Okay, so you wanted to go short on this, and I'm long. Oh, fair enough. So this move, you got the fib, high test. If you're looking to go short, you need to get an extension in there. And I think I said this on Monday, is that'd be your little downtrend. So you got the 1.618 offering resistance and the extension. And there's support there, there's support here, and there's resistance there. I think there's quite a bit of support in this area. Between 91 and 92, there's a lot of work has been done. I think that might sort of make your trade struggle a bit. So I'm not sure if you got into that.
What I do not like is the trade is the last two lows were halfway through the range to the target. These two lows here. Well, it seems to be a bit of support, doesn't it? If we go back to the weekly, the reason that is these lows here, which is reasonably strong support. I'm seeing higher highs though, and now higher lows. That's the way I'm looking at it. Okay, so that's the last of that. You've done a good analysis for range short. Yes, this is halfway through it. Get your extensions in, like I showed. But if you got some doubt, then don't take the trade. Okay, comment on the pound Kiwi over the last month has been making higher highs and higher lows, basically forming a bullish trend line, and today it looks like it is making a ring lows. This meets your fundamental basis or bias. Yeah, Kiwi got smacked about a bit. Mr. Wheeler trying to send it south. Where's my mouse gone? Come here. Oh, why do you do that? Surely you should default to the default freaking template. For the last, what you said, over the last month has been making higher highs. Yeah, look, there's a bit of a channel going on here. Let's put it there. And you're coming off the bottom of this channel. Moving averages are dead flat. Fundamentally, I'd prefer to be long this than short it. Kiwi is overdone. The pound's getting sort of overdone too, but at least Carney's not talking his currency down. Well, not yet. Little difficult to say that you could say if this is your cyclicity, there's phase one, phase two, phase one, phase two. So you've got two cycles above the trend line. You need to get a strong horizontal level in there, or a horizontal level in there that price can bounce off as well. And you'll have your Fibonacci, and you just ignore the moving averages because they'll turn around as soon as price starts moving as well. Nice test the 786, managed to get back above the 618. So, yeah, I wouldn't bet the house on it, but you could be looking at sort of taking it back up towards 99, which is about 400 pips away, and your risking would be 200, about 220 for 250. It's not that crash hot. But if it's making a higher cycles, it might be up here. So you might be looking at sort of out here somewhere. And 300 is they're starting to have decent risk reward. It actually looks to be set up today for a long trade. CAD yen looks set up for a long trade. Yeah, nice little ring low again. It was this ring low here that got me into the trade a while back, earning reasonable interest on the trade, but it's really gone nowhere yet. But yes, you could argue that there's a ring low there, so there's effectively another trade. It's kind of tiny, but there's your first cycle above the EMA, and you'd be looking for a new cycle and go and test these highs of sort of 95 area. Yeah. Do you think it is best to stay out of yen crosses such as the Aussie yen until the Ukraine has more stability? Well, look, in terms of this, the CAD is quite bullish. You look at the Kiwi yen. When the Kiwi has been bullish until obviously Wheeler overnight, or even through here, the Kiwi's been quite bullish, but the there has been extended strength in the yen. And dollar yen is another one that has shown strength in the yen thanks to this Ukrainian business. It might be an idea until that finishes. That could be, their elections are not due for another couple of weeks, and Russia wants them to push it back until the end of the year. So this could be protracted. Once they stop shooting each other, though, they'll the safe haven flows, and it only seems to be happening really to the yen. The Swissy hasn't really sort of. This is more US dollar weakness, but Swissy's got some, but not all that much strength from it. And when you look at the the old classic safe haven, which is this one, it's really going sideways. So the safe haven flow is not as strong as one would think. Otherwise, gold would be up in the sort of around the 14 or 15 mark. And I think that's because it's not going to, there's no contagion on the issue. It's a local issue between the Russians and the Ukrainians, although the Americans are hell-bent on trying to stick their friggin' nose in it and make it a bigger issue than it is. 17% of the 45 million people who live in Ukraine are Russian, but 17% is certainly not the majority, so the US should piss off and let the Ukrainians and the Russians sort it out. And therefore we might have this, but sorry, I digress. Until they do sort it out, I'd say that the yen may maintain some strength, which will make things struggle a bit. But any sign of an accord, and they were looking at getting one over the weekend, only to have it destroyed on Friday night by the Russians. If they can reach some sort of accord where the Russians are happy with what the Ukrainians are going to do, the Ukrainians stop, you'll see the yen weaken and quickly. Okay. Do you have any guidelines for taking partial profit on a trade? I thought about it with the Kiwi yen last night, but I don't have any rules for taking partial profit, so I didn't. Shame. Oh, shame. It's very much a South African comment. Shame. Well, there was a high test bar, so you could have looked at doing that. But the rules for partial, taking partial profit is if you see headlines, the news coming out that you go, well, I don't want to be in this particular pair. When the New Zealand unemployment comes out, and you might look to get out in front of that, or lock some profit in front of that. Generally, the only way you would look at taking partial profit is on a risk-reward basis or a target-driven basis, such as a percentage return, a multiple of your risk, or a price that you think is going to offer quite a level of resistance. Unless you've already preset that in terms of setting up the trade, such as the other gentleman was looking at today, it's going to be a little hard to just go, oh, enough's enough. I don't mind you taking profit when it's on the table. That's fine. Having rules around it's a little harder to ascertain, because it's a fluid, liquid thing that you can't be set in stone. I try and do that for you guys by giving you some rules around it. But the reason why you need to have those rules is because if you're just sort of hopping out of trades whenever you feel like that it's under threat, you're going to leave a lot on the table. And then so when you do have a loss of 1%, and you're only making 0.25% on each trade, your account will be going backwards. So you try and maximize the trade as much as possible. And in this instance, I would, if you saw that high test bar as someone did, as some of you guys did, be moving your stop underneath that. Shame is nicer than saying effing pissed off. Yes, it's much more what's the word? It's classy is another word. It's not the word I was looking for, but anyway. Okay, so that's all we've got to go through for today. Tomorrow, big day for data, Aussie unemployment, and then the two central banks in the old school or the old world. And then good old Auntie is having a bit of a chat at around 9:30, testifying before Congress. So can have a bit of flip-flop around tomorrow. Might give us some opportunities. Might make some of our trades look pretty good, but there's a few there that are worth looking at today that we looked at. Otherwise, guys, I shall see you Friday. Friday will be the last one for some time because I've got to go to Sydney for next week. So, thank you for your time. This is recorded. I appreciate the heads up and reminding me to do that. And otherwise, happy days. And we'll chat again soon. For Monday and Tuesday, that's a repeat of the first course. Monday and Tuesday next week is the prop course, the end of day course, and then Wednesday, Thursday is the platinum course. I have redone the manuals, but unfortunately they weren't done in time for the printers. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, whether I just stick to the old manual and we'll do the new manual in July, because I'm not allowed to email them out to you electronically, or we'll do the new manual on Wednesday and Thursday, and you guys just have to do old school and bring pen and paper and copy it, because there's a bit in there. I've changed it quite drastically. It's not going to freak you out, but the manual is the actual printed manual is quite different. No, I can't send electronic. Sorry, Ezio. I know you'd love it, but no. No, can't get electronic. You're not going to get it. Sorry. Either wait for July or come along and bring a pad and pen and copy it. What are key changes? I've turned a 200 page book into about a 130 page book. Just pulled a lot of bullshit out. Right out. I shall see you next week. Okay, guys. No worries. Thank you. I'll chat to you Friday and see you next week. Cheers, guys.